Hi everyone. Let's take a look at creating a studio editor post in Viking Connect. I'm starting off on my home page in the posts area. I'm going to click on new post. From here, I can select who I want to send it to, who should see this, and I can give it a subject. Here you'll see I have two tabs, Post and Studio Editor. I'm going to click on Studio Editor because that's the feature I want to use. I'm going to pick this basic build template. Even though it shows it as blue, once you click on it, you'll see that it has a green theme color. By default, Studio Editor gives you 3 built-in content blocks. If I hover but don't click, I can see that it's a header. If I go down to this one, I can see this is an images content block, and if I scroll down, I can see that this is a paragraph content block. You can use, change, delete any of these content blocks. You can move a block by using one of the 3 buttons towards the top. I can't move this one any further up because it's at the top, but this one I could use to move it manually, and this one I could use to move it down 1 block. So you'll see it's now under the paragraph block. I'm going to hover over it and click it so that it's back up here at the top. You can also delete a content block by clicking on the trash can. And remember, if you want to bring it back, you can always click undo. Now let's take a look at changing an existing block. If I wanted to change my header, instead of just hovering, I would click in the block. As soon as I do that, you'll notice that I get this editing area over here on the right-hand side. I can align my text. I can upload an image. I can change the title of my text right here. You could see as I type in, it'll show up in the content block. Same thing for the subtitle. I can also change the heading from large to medium to small. I'm going to leave it at large. I could add a date if I wanted to and change the brand color. I'm going to leave it as green. When I'm done, I can click Save and Close. Same thing for the other blocks. If I wanted to make changes, I could click and then make changes. I'm going to cancel. We're going to come back to this later, but I'll click. You could see, I see the right-hand side editing box. Let's take a look at adding content blocks. I'm going to scroll up to the top here. Let's say I wanted to add a title right after my header. I'm going to go to Title. I'm going to click on it. As soon as I do that, notice that I get some dotted lines. This tells me I can add a title in any of those positions. I'm going to add my title here. And now you see that it's inserted a title block. After you make any changes, to go back, you just hit Save and Close. Let's add a paragraph right after my title. Notice that you have some of the similar options: aligning, changing the text. Here, I'm just going to add some additional text. I can bold, italicize, underline. I could even create a link if I wanted to. I'm going to click away. Down here, I can add an image. So let me upload an image I have saved. So I'll click please upload, and I'm going to pick this one right here. You see, this is our Valparaiso Community Schools logo. Image alt text. This is a description for accessibility. If I don't add something here, it's going to show a warning in my post. So I'm going to add some text here. Quick description. Accessibility feature is required when you add images to Viking Connect. This is not the same as a caption for the image. This provides a written alternative for people who cannot see the image, such as those using screen readers. If I wanted, I could even add an image link to link to something outside Viking Connect. I'm going to scroll to the top and you could see way at the top here, layout. I could position my image according to the text. I could have left image with text, which is what you see here. I can make it a right image with text, or I could have two columns. I'm going to select this one in the middle, and I'm going to go ahead and save and close. Notice that I don't see an error message here, and that's because I did add that alt text. So I'm going to delete the last two, just so right now we have a header, a title, and a paragraph content block. I'm going to go ahead and add an image below the paragraph. Then I'll click here where it says add image. I'm going to add that same image for now. You can see it fits the screen. I'll add my alt text. Again, I could add in a link if I wanted to. I'm going to go to layout though, so you can see my options. So this is the one we have right now. It's just one column. So if you wanted just one image, you can just use this. But let's say I wanted two images side by side. I can select this, and then it'll give me two columns. I'm going to go back to content. And if I scroll down, now I have an additional right column area where I could add another image. So I'm going to do that. So I'll add my alt text and save and close. One thing to keep in mind is that Viking Connect posts are designed to be viewed not only on a computer, but more often on a mobile device. So it limits things such as not being able to place 10 pictures in a row, because that would be really hard to see on a mobile device. You could see we could also add video. So I'll add a video content block here. In this box here, I could paste in a video URL or embed code. I'll paste a video URL that I found on math. And you can see that as soon as I paste it in, it shows me a preview here and also in the post. I do have to do the alt text also. And then I can save and close. Okay, so now let's go get a button link. If I click on that, I'm gonna add it right here. And a button link is just a button that you can create that will take you somewhere outside of Viking Connect. So I'm going to add the website, my button text, and save and close. Okay, and finally a divider. I like to use dividers because it defines the different areas, especially when you have text. So if I go up here, for example, you could see that between my paragraph and my image, there's a lot of white space. Sometimes that's what you want, but sometimes you want division. So I'm going to click on divider and I'll add my divider here just so you can see what that looks like. So let's say I'm done. I've got a few choices. I can go up here and hit save. If I go to the pull down menu, I can also save it as a draft or save it as a personal template. I'm going to click finish. And what that does is takes me back to the area where I can preview it before I send it out, all my normal things that I want to do. What I like to do though, before I send my newsletters out, is that I like to preview. So I'm going to click preview. And when I go here, notice that I have send me a test option. And what I like about this is once I do that, it's going to send it to my email. And so I can look at it through my email. And if I'm using the app, it will also send me a link so that I can view it through the app. So it's a great way to preview before you actually send it out to anyone. So I just wanted to show you what this looks like when I go to my email and click on my test post. You could see that I see my post the way my users would see it. If I click on view in Viking Connect, then it will go back to Viking Connect so I can view it in here. So I can scroll down. I'm going to expand it just in case there are other things. I see everything here. So I see my title, paragraph, images. If I click on my video, you can see it plays right in here. If I click on my link, it should take me to Google. Yep, very good. And so this is what it would look like in my web browser. And if I go to my phone right now, then I can have a preview of what it looks like in the app. If I want to continue editing, notice I have a link here that I can click on. It'll take me back to my post, and I have to click edit newsletter to be able to actually go ahead and then go to the editing area. So at this point, I could go back. Let's say I needed to tweak something, or I could just click finish again and then send it. Let's say though that you're not done and you are going to come back to it at a later time. So from here, what you can do is you can click on the home button. And when you get to your home page, you notice that there's a scheduled and draft posts option here. If I click on that, I can see all of my scheduled and draft posts. I want to make sure that I go to my studio posts though, so that I can find it there. And then I can click and open it. Thank you for watching.